We did it. We are selling ammo. NazoAmmo.com. We teamed up. Keystone Munitions, quality, premium product. We're selling it online. What do? You go to NazoAmmo.com. First thing that pops up, what's this? It's an email list. What's the email list do? It's going to give you access to promo codes. It's going to give you access to events, T-shirts, apparel, everything we're doing. Get on that email list. You want 45? 45's not on the website, but then it's coming in. You're ahead of the curve. You're ahead of the guy who's just finding out about it. You're a part of the family. Very fast and furious how we do everything around here. Nazo Ammo. We are moving Keystone Munitions. Premium products. We're doing it. You want to pick up? You don't want to have it sent? You're Carl. You live down the road? Pick up Nazo at the promo code at the end. Now you're picking up ammo here. We're doing it, man. We are doing it. Nazo Ammo. www.nazoammo.com. Small town, big ammo. 5anddimeeaston.com. They have their website officially up. You can shop most of their stuff online. They also have Fucked. They have Fucked in the store. I think they're the only one allowed to sell Fucked out of their store. It's 484-544-4719. That's at 5anddimeeaston on social media. These guys are great. I mean, they're killing it. It's the best skate shop, in my opinion, in the area. They have a lot of cool stuff there. Both the owners are rad. I stop in when I can. They're open Monday through Friday, 11 to 7, Saturday, 10 to 7, and Sunday, 11 to 5. There is someone always there to help you out with your needs. You can check their inventory off the website. You can check out some videos they got on there, and they're doing some cool things. Their social media is awesome. They support a lot of local skaters in the area, and they're growing. I'm excited to be a part of them growing. I'm excited to help them out. They're helping me out. It's a good relationship, and I push 5 and Dime Easton because they're the best skate shop in the area. Check them out. BTG Blasting. My man, Pat Cunningham, offering you pressure washing, disinfecting, acid washing, and rust removal. It is a high pressure washing business, bringing your stuff back to glory. He does anything from houses all the way to having him come into the studio. He comes down to the studio on a schedule and he disinfects the studio, and we are certifiably clean, and it just covers all the bases. So with the things that are going on now, you're going to need somebody like this. He's got a sticker out front. I am certifiably clean down here. He also offers free estimates on all your needs. He can do corporate and at home. You can reach him at 484-241-1711 and btgblasting@gmail.com. He just started this business and it is taking off. I'm super excited for him, and I'm super excited that he's a sponsor of the show. And you can check out BTG Blasting on social media for all of your pressure washing, disinfecting, acid wash, and rust removal needs. It's high pressure washing, bringing your stuff back to glory. He offers many things, and you need to check him out. Eric K. Dowdle, defense attorney. We had him on the show, and what crazy stories this guy's had. He's helped a ton of people over the years, and if you're looking for help, he is your guy. You can contact them at 610-882-3000, and it's ekdefense.com. Do you have a pending court case? Do you have a court appearance and need a defense lawyer? Do you need proper representation? Felony, misdemeanor, drug offense, assault, homicide, DUI, traffic violation, appeals. Reach out to Eric. Check out the podcast we did with him as well. It has his whole story on there. If you need help, Eric is here to help you. He sponsors the show. We appreciate it. He's going to be doing a monthly thing with us. Eric will be a part of the family now. Thank you for sponsoring. I don't know.
Coming at you live with no headphones. Boom.
There we are. No headphones. You're the first guest to request no headphones.
I don't like listening to them to myself in my head. And also, do you ever do the FaceTime thing? And
yeah.
When I do that, I don't know if this makes me a sociopath or whatever, but I only look at myself. I'm like, look at this fucking guy over here. It's like, damn.
Oh
my head God. Lopsided. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, look at me, and I won't even pay attention to whoever the fuck I'm talking to.
Now, I'm so used to having headphones that this is uncomfortable, but I know why you don't like them, because the first time when we started doing them, you hear like an echo of yourself.
Yeah, that's what
But I do this almost every other day at this point.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So, now, that is so... And halfway through the interview, you wouldn't even notice the echo anymore.
I would.
You wouldn't?
I've been here before, dude.
Yeah, that's right. You did. And I
don't-
think you
yeah.
took them off. You took them off before.
Just midway. I don't know why. It's just, hearing your own voice in your head.
You're doing keto. I was like, yo, you should bring pizza. We'll start the show with pizza because, like, you introduced me to Pat's. And I was like, oh, he knows his food. And then I was like, we'll start the show eating pizza, and that'll be our angle. And then you're like, yo, dude, I'm doing keto.
Nice.
And then I was like, hey, let's have some beers. And you're like, I can't. I have keto. And then
I'll do some whiskey, but there's no whiskey.
No, what happened is I had a bottle of Proper 12. We drink it a lot
It
here.
looks like you had like 14 bottles of
Well,
Proper 12.
he fought a lot. So the last one was over first round, so the whiskey didn't even get opened.
Damn.
So then I put it back there, and I was like, oh, I'll keep it for the next fight. I'll just maybe keep it. A special occasion. This would have been that special occasion. Then last week, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have a little nip of whiskey.
Just 2 fingers.
I ended up going into the bottle, ended up taking a hit off the pen, and then I woke up and I finished more than half the bottle.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I didn't want to. I was just like, and I wasn't making large drinks. I was making small drinks. And then they would be done, and then I would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna make another little drink. I'm just having little drinks, little guys.
Come on, mate. He's only little."
Yeah, yes.
Nice.
So, but it weirded me out because I didn't think I drank that much. I didn't think I was at half a bottle, let alone it was a little under half. I mean, I like drinking,
I'll
but
do Jack
it was hard.
Daniels and then Diet Coke.
So you're a Jack
You know
guy.
what I'm saying? Diet Coke because I'm trying to watch my girlish
Diet
figure.
Coke's not bad with.
It's the same thing. It's the same
yeah.
thing, except just it's so good and healthy for you. You could just
It's not
replace
hel-
one
George,
for one
it's
Diet
not-
Coke
it's
with
not-
water.
It's not.
I know
it's
that.
Not
I know
healthy
that.
at all.
I know that.
It's rat poison.
So you're trying to tell me if I get like 3 or 4 quarter pounders, but then I chase it with the Diet Coke,
No.
I'm right there.
Do you know people who
It
do that?
cancels
Are you
it
that
out.
person who does
No,
that?
no, I'm
Yeah,
not at all that
I worked
person.
with a couple different people, and we used to get when I bartended, we would get food before we started, and the one guy would get a shit ton of like double, Big Macs, but he would be like the extra, like, oh, I'll just get the cheeseburger meal to start,
And
and
the
then
Diet Coke
the
just
double.
cancels it
Yes,
out.
but then I got
Yeah.
a Diet Coke, and I don't like the taste of Diet Coke at all.
Oh,
Coke
really?
Zero, I tried getting into, but then like.
That's the same fucking thing. It's just
After a
marketed
while, you're
towards men.
just realizing you're just drinking shitty syrup, and that's actually what made me feel like shit. The whiskey I definitely had a hangover on, but because I drank so much soda,
Oh.
I felt like even more shit. Because
Yeah, I'm trying
I
not
don't
to
really
do
drink soda. Do
any
you
of that,
drink
dude.
soda?
No, not really. Like when I'm out again, or if
Yes,
I'm
that's like a
drinking-
treat.
Yeah,
It's like a little treat.
yeah. At restaurants, I'll get them, or again, if I'm drinking like Jack and Diet Coke.
So
You know
you're
what
a
I'm saying?
Jack
In
guy.
My
Jack
keto
and Diet Coke.
No, I'm a gin guy.
Oh,
like
I love gin.
Yeah, gin
No
and
one
tonic's
likes when I
usually my
drink
thing.
gin.
But tonic is fucking. It's sugary, so I can't.
What
do
about
that.
seltzer? Gin
but-
and seltzer's not bad.
Gin and seltzers? I don't know.
Because I get
feel
the
like-
polar seltzers.
I feel like I'd be defiling a gin and tonic by making it a gin and seltzer.
You know what
And
I
would
like?
Just like my gin and tonic less.
What do you put in your gin and tonic? I go.
I'll go lemon
tonic.
with Bombay Sapphire, and then I'll go cucumber if I do the Hendrix.
I see.
Do a little cucumber. Nice,
I
especially
go-
this summer.
I go tonic, gin, 3 olives.
Okay.
And if
so you make it
they
dirty a
got
little bit.
yeah, I like it dirty, which came from when I didn't drink. I would go out, and when I first quit drinking, I would get into Shirley Temples, and then you start realizing you can't drink 8 or 9 Shirley
Or the
Temples.
grenadine.
Yes,
It's
it's just
diarrhea.
awful.
Yeah.
Then I just started drinking soda. Then people would be like, you're not drinking. But if I got tonic, 3 olives, and that's it, it was dirty, and I had to sip it, and you couldn't slam it, and then people just thought I was drinking, and they'd leave me alone.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny that you have to like deal with stuff like that? Like, why aren't you drinking?
Especially if you're in a bar.
But I just
if
did
you're
it
in a
to
bar,
you.
Yeah, surrounded by your friends.
Yeah, you're not drinking tonight? What's up, pussy?
Do you do
quit?
olives in your gin and tonic?
Yeah,
I've
and
never
I've
done
even
that.
done it dirty too. Like if you go to an actual bar, like I'll go to Miguel's and like they make drinks there. And there's
Get
other
the fuck out of here. They make drinks at this bar?
No. Like there's people who will just make you a gin and tonic. They give you the shitty olives that you get at a picnic, like a family picnic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then
I know
there's
what you're talking
bars that have like stuff. Yeah,
baristas,
like Widows.
yeah.
Like
And they got,
Widows
like,
will make like
40
an actual
bitters
drink.
yeah.
Like they have stuffed like olives with like fucking blue cheese.
Got it.
So sometimes I'll go dirty, where I'll do like gin stuffed garlic with garlic or blue cheese in it as well.
I'll do some of those specialty. I'm like the worst Greek ever, except I'm the best one. But I don't like olives, and I don't know why. But that's like my one thing. It was like, oh, you're Greek. How are you gonna not even like olives? And I'm like, I just don't like them, except for those like specialty, like stuffed with cheese or whatever the hell they are.
I would like to go down a
fan.
road of culture here. I know nothing about Greek people.
Oh, they're
Tell me
awesome.
what it's like growing up Greek.
It's fantastic. Jesus was Greek. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who's anybody was Greek. That's what you like. Everyone should be. I'm proud as fuck to be Greek. I love it.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
So what did you do growing up Greek?
Oh shit.
What are holidays like? What are food events like? What are family events
real quick,
like?
the religion is like with Roman Catholic, the fucking Italians.
Yeah.
The Italians do nothing except they killed Jesus and they make Ferraris and shoes. Right? That's it. Right? And then the Irish, they're very religious.
Yes.
But like Jesus could never be Irish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you can't find 3 wise men or a virgin. You know what I'm saying? So ipso skipso, Jesus was Greek. You're Irish, right?
Yeah, Irish and
knew it.
German.
All right.
Got shipped off to Catholic. Was raised super Catholic growing up.
Yeah.
Notre
Me
Dame.
too. I
Yeah.
went to Catholic school.
Where'd you go?
I went to Sacred Heart. I almost like mind blipped. It's on the corner of 2nd Street Freemansburg Avenue and 2nd Street, and I lived on 4th Street. Yeah. And it's no longer a school. I think it's Our Lady now.
Because
is
of
the
you?
same thing. No, not because of me. I mean, maybe. Shit, I don't know. But the religions are... So I'm Greek Orthodox. It's us and the Russians. Everything's the same.
What's your opinion on Russians?
The Russians are... I think they're like their own race, I think. But they're just like... They look like white people, so we're like, oh,
Yeah.
they're just like... But Russians are their own thing. You're never like, damn, look at this Russian guy. What a pussy.
This is how
That doesn't
I live
exist.
life. I hate Russians because of Khabib and Connor.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's where I live.
All right. Are you extra pro Connor because of the
Yeah,
the
and then
Irish aspect?
people hate that I'm a Connor fan, but I was a Connor fan when Connor was on the undercard, or was
did it before he was cool.
No. He came out, and I believe it was like the Ireland card. It was the first time they did something over there, and he fought the guy who wore like the headset. And I remember watching it with my friend. It was not, the UFC was not what it was now. And I said, we didn't have fighters. I came from the era with Tito and Chuck, so those guys were gone. I had to find somebody new. So in comes the Irish guy. I go to the Celtic Fest, got Irish flags, always Irish, especially in my 20s.
Word up.
This Irish guy comes out. I said, who's this Conor McGregor dude? My buddy's like, yo, he's Irish. And I was like, cool, our fighter. And then he fucked him up. And then it was like, cool, let's watch him next fight. And then it turned into a thing. You know what I mean? Like, how could you not? So
That's what's up.
I got to eat the law.
Dude, what a great...
It's probably like very similar to someone being like a LeBron James fan or the Yankees.
True, yeah.
You just gotta hear all the shit. Fuck you, the Yankees suck, fuck this. But I never knew what it was like to be that person.
I never
until
watched
Connor.
football. Like, football's so popular in America. Like, it's number one. And all my boys watch football. And I wanted to be the guy who was yelling at the TV and, like, balls deep into football. And I played, like, when I was a little kid, like, they were like, hey, you want to try football? I was like, yeah, why not? We'll try football.
And now you have bad knees.
No, I didn't. No, I mean, But I just couldn't get into it, man.
No.
But I gave it its fair chance. I just
who was your
wasn't
team?
into it. Shit, I don't know.
I never had a football
Tampa
team.
Bay fucking Tom Brady's. That's my team right there.
I like them because I found out that they have a pirate ship in the crowd where people get drunk. That's the only reason I like the Buccaneers.
Same, me too now.
So, like, I never had a football team either, and then I didn't like basketball, and then when I started watching UFC and I got, like, into it and followed and all the other shit, then I was like, oh, now I understand why people who like football and basketball are into it this much. But then there's also the other side of it where if you're rooting for somebody that the majority fucking hates, like, it's not a fun time.
Right.
Unless that person wins. It's not
Then
it's
it's
not been
cool.
a fun time being a Conor McGregor fan.
I know people, so I know of football. It's not like it's like completely alien to me, but I know people that are like just die hard. Like, what's the worst football team in the whole thing. Probably
Patriots.
like the Jets or
The Patriots
the
for
Patriots
a while.
are the bad now. When's the last time the Jets did anything? Or the
Oh
Eagles?
no, I'm sorry. I thought you said the most hated.
Oh no, just the worst at playing the
probably
game.
Jets, shit like
Or
that.
like the
yeah.
Eagles, right? Except
Yeah.
the Eagles won a Super Bowl and it was like, holy shit. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But like,
Our
and
time
everybody
now.
was just like holding on and just like cheering for these teams. I'm like, maybe just like have like a side team that you could be happy for. You know what I'm saying? It's not single elimination, right? They just keep playing forever. So
Yeah.
you can lose 10 games in a row.
The only time I got involved with football is I was a Terrell Owens fan. And then because everyone hated him.
Nice.
So then when he went to the Eagles, everyone's like, hell yeah, T.O. But then he had that interview where he talked shit on Donovan McNabb. And then the whole...
Was he the one that was fighting dogs?
No,
against each
that
other?
was the other one. What the hell's his name? The other quarterback. He did play for the Eagles eventually. I forget his name. McNabb was just the Eagles quarterback that they loved to hate, and they blamed him every year. And then when T.O. said that he would have got to the Super Bowl with another quarterback, he said, if I would have been playing with the guy from the Packers, he's like, we would have won the Super Bowl, meaning like it was a setup question. And then Eagles hated him. Then I loved them more. I bought jerseys because then I would go out to bars with my friends to watch sports events. You got the Eagles Owens on. Fuck you. And then he went to the Cowboys. They hated him. I got the Cowboys jersey on. That is the only time. And I had a blast because like he was really good. So every team he went to, he did well. And then
Right.
eventually,
Well,
he was
if
just
he's
such a
good at the
problem.
sport, right?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
such a problem that they got rid of him. But I don't watch football. UFC's my thing.
Yeah. Same. Me too.
Yeah.
And even those, like I can't, there's so many that I miss them now.
We try, but then it got to
Yeah.
a point where like it was just affecting my day to day because now the only thing we were doing on Saturdays was watching fights, and then which is awesome, and I love doing that. But then like there's too many.
There
and
is
then
too
like
many.
there's a group of guys, then one guy gets a girlfriend, and then you know what I mean. Then now he's not showing up all the time. It gets
Right.
smaller and smaller and smaller, and then it's not. But we did watch the Jake Paul. I watched that with one of my friends. Did you watch
bootlegged
that shit?
Yeah, I sent that to the whole thing. I was never gonna pay for that, but I sent
No,
it to
I don't
all my
pay for
homies.
any of
I was
this
like,
stuff.
bootleg. People just streaming it from their
Yeah.
thing. You can hear their dog barking, but it was great quality. That's what's great about living in the.
Oh,
year
so you watched it
2021.
off your phone?
Oh hell yeah, I watched it off my phone.
I get it from a friend of mine pays monthly. He pays $15 a month. So it's basically like having Cody, except for you pay, and then the people you pay organize it and like get rid of the shit streams. So it's only really running streams that come through, and then like you gotta like go through all this stuff on your Fire Stick, but it's on the Fire Stick, and like it is 95% of the time, especially like if they're running it off of BT Sports, because in other countries, sometimes the pay-per-views are free and they're running them like regular TV. So they'll steal that feed and then dump it over to that. So I get pretty lucky, and I can take the Fire Stick, and if you refresh it, you can watch it. Like I took the Fire Stick to my buddies and was
Oh,
running
you
it
just
over
like
there.
blow on it like it's an N64, plug it in,
Yes,
and then it's
yes.
good to go.
So like with having that capability, like I watch everything. I watch Bare Knuckle. I watched Rough and Rowdy from Barstool. I just love people
What's Rough
fighting.
and Rowdy from
They
Barstool?
basically get like people who get into arguments. Or like they pick two people, like so, and it's usually like people down south, and they're just like, and they're totally
Like
out of their
bum
mind.
fights.
Yeah, it's basically an organized version of bum fights, but the people are like kind of athletic because they don't have any fat on them because it's just muscle mass because they do meth. So
Nice.
like, and then there's midgets, and then some of the fights they get
Wait, like midgets versus people, or
midgets
like,
versus each
okay,
other.
That's fair. Okay.
And then when you get like this year they had Pac-Man Jones versus the guy who won Rough and Rowdy last year. So they'll pull sports people in. Like I think they had Jose Canseco fought like a camera guy from Barstool. It's all Barstool shit, but
I
dude,
like Barstool. As far as they
Dude,
go, I think it's a great organization, company, news
Yeah.
network. I don't even know what the fuck it's called. It's just like a good thing that exists. For
Well, what
my
they're
eyes to
doing
see.
now is like they were a part of the Jake Paul fight because they have so much money they can buy into that. But they also bought a college bowl this year. So like NBC won't be airing the one bowl, Barstool will. So like they're gonna have their own reporters. Like I'm like,
That's
yo, this
awesome.
is so much better because it's not gonna be like, well, hello. It's gonna be like interns that don't even know how to fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no,
like
that's fantastic.
They're
That's
taking
the mom
over
and pop
Yes.
shop of fucking the news or whatever.
And they're taking over, but they're keeping it. Now they're just keeping that like frat house college show they've always had, but now they're just putting huge production behind it. It's pretty genius what they're doing. But I love watching just competition on every level, like, because I got into the Jiu Jitsu because I think the first time when I started watching that was JM was doing combat jiu-jitsu, or it was something early on when it was on Fight Pass. And then when I watched that, I was like, awesome. So now I just watch, like, that's what I watch.
So do you train jiu-jitsu?
No, I've taken like, I want to. Like, it's something I really want to do. I want to make time for it. And I did kickboxing for 3 weeks, fucked my knee up, and then that sucked because I was going with artists, and I was like doing it and was doing it at least once a week.
Shout out to artists.
I want him to come on.
Martial artists.
We were trying to,
dude.
Yeah.
What a good kid.
Yeah.
I love that dude to bits, for real.
So I took, I think 3-4 classes, and then it's just something that, like, I need to make a priority, and I never do, which annoys me because that whole school is open to me because, like, I have no excuses because I know everyone there now. There is no intimidation with going to a class because I know everybody. Like, people fuck with the food. Like, I'm an idiot for not going.
Yeah,
but I want to. How did you get into it? Because that was one of my questions. Because how do you know JM and Zach? Because you're super close with JM.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know you till the two of you came down here and we got fucked up that one night.
Nice.
And then I was like, I love George.
Yeah. So me and Holland was training at Tiger Schulman's, and he was working there. So he would, like, teach at Tiger Schulman's. And then at that point, it was either like my last year of high school. No, I was graduated from high school. But we were getting into all these fights. Like, I was just getting into street fights. And, like, the best kid that I knew how to...
Greek.
No, not because I was Greek. Always, I don't know why, but, like, I had this, like, undying loyalty from my friend. I was like, someone's fucking with Jimmy. We gotta go.
That's what you do, though.
Fucking risk our lives every day fighting to defend Jimmy's honor. But we were getting into all these fights. And the one kid who really knew how to fight was my other best friend, and whose name's Mike. And he learned all his fighting from Tiger Schulman's, which we thought was, like, just Tiger Schulman's karate, right? Where they were just like kicking and punching air. But it wasn't. It was like at some point, I don't know when the fuck it happened, because I remember watching the commercials when I was a kid, and it was like some kid did like 35 backflips and then he ended in a split, and they're like, come to Tiger Schulman's, train now. And I was like, shit, Mom, sign me up. So my mom, like, took me to some, like, bootleg karate thing.
Were you intimidated going in there?
No.
Yeah, so that doesn't intimidate you, like, going to a class? That's where I struggle a little bit, is I get overwhelmed going through the front door and being like, there's all these people here. Am I doing this right? And I overthink it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Well, because I knew Mike, too. Like, Mike was my best friend, and he was, like, a black belt at Tiger Schulman's, right? So I was like, dude, I could probably kick Mike's ass. I was like, I'll fuck everybody up. I just walked into it thinking no one could beat me up anyway. But I only wanted to kickbox, right? And every night, the schedule was, it was like, I don't know what the fuck the times were. It was like 8 or not. Whatever the late class was, because I was always going to the late class, was the kickboxing class. So I'd bring my shit. I would, like, never, you'd have to, like, wear these uniforms where it's like the white pants. Yeah. And then, like, if you're good enough, you get the black pants. And I'm like, dude, there's like a 120-pound girl with black pants. So I'm like, I could beat that girl's ass. But so, like, I would be like, oh, I forgot my uniform again. Also, they were fucking expensive, so I just never bought anymore. I would just have the pants, and then I'd wash them. If I didn't wash them, I'd just show up with, like, fucking basketball shorts or whatever. So we kickbox. And I would see them because, like, right before kickboxing was the jiu-jitsu. And I was like, damn, like, this is so gay.
So I
was like, move over. These fucking homos are just sweating and hugging each other, right?
So those guys were teaching jiu-jitsu at Tiger Schulman's?
Holland was.
Yeah.
Zach was gone. So Zach had a hiatus. He was married and, like, away with his ex-wife, right? And he was like working construction.
No, I remember those
had
stories.
Hair. Oh my God. Yeah. So check this out. So then they switched the classes on me the one time, and they made it so that kickboxing ended when I got there. Because it's not like I check in. I'm like, hey, where's the operator? What's the time is it today? I just fucking show up for the late class, and that's the one I would take. But now it was jiu-jitsu. So I was like, fuck. They're like, yeah, dude, kickboxing just ended. We switched the thing, and it's jiu-jitsu. He's like, come on, like, just stay and, like, roll. And I was like, okay, whatever, dude. Like, I already have all my shit. I'll just push these guys over and just, like, get them in a headlock, right? Because I don't know shit at this point. And Holland taught kickboxing. He was fighting.
Wait. You just said you're going to roll these guys over and put them in a headlock.
Yeah, I literally thought, because
How old were you?
I want to say, like, 19.
Yeah.
Like, right
You guys
there.
were young. Is
my
Holland
God.
the same age as you?
Holland, I think, is a year older, so he was
Yeah.
probably 20, right? But dude, that was my mentality. I was like, it's not that big of a deal. I was just looking at him. I was like, damn, look at this guy with the headgear. I could definitely just push his ass over and just like get on top of him, get his ass in a headlock. That's my only, because it's not like you knew any moves or skills or knew what the fuck to do. So it was just like, get him in a headlock, get him in a headlock. That's it. Anyway, Holland taught kickboxing, and then he left. Dude, Holland was like a fucking single mother in that place, because there was another guy who's a great dude, V. Yeah, Sensei V, dude, he's on the wall. First of all, that's like the most intimidating shit, because you would walk into Tiger Showman's.
Yeah,
and there was,
I've
like,
been in Tiger Showman's, and it's like he's all
dude,
like ripped.
Yeah,
it's like
he's
the dude
just
from Cobra
jacked
Kai.
on the side, and then he comes out. It's like, oh, he's a normal guy, but I saw the picture. I was like, this motherfucker's breaking boards and ice and shit. You know what I'm saying? That guy's like, you bring him out like Bruce Lee, he's just kicking fools in the head. But like you never knew, right?
Yeah,
I never fucking.
Because I mean, back then it wasn't how it is now. Where like back then, I feel like I came from like watching action movies,
Right,
so like
that-
I
me
was like,
too.
this dude's Rambo.
Yeah, dude, straight up. Yeah, what gets you into martial arts is like
Chuck Norris.
John Claude Van Damme, whatever the fuck his name is, and the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Straight up the
Get
Power
out of here
Rangers.
with the Power Rangers.
Dude, the Power Rangers.
They're terrible.
Every
you probably
year,
like Captain
every
Planet as
year,
well.
Every year I was the Red Ranger for 6 years in a row.
That's terrible.
And at recess when we would play as kids, I was the Red Ranger.
No
and
wonder
even if
you
I was
got into
sick,
fights. No
dude,
wonder
if I
you got
was
into
sick,
fights.
people knew that no one was allowed to be the Red Ranger except me, dog.
Get out of
I'm
here.
just saying.
But now, this explains everything on why people want to fight you. The Power
No one
Rangers
wanted to fight
suck.
me.
The Transformers, man. Anything with the Power
Transformers
Rangers.
was the gayest thing
Oh,
ever.
get
until
outta here. Let me
until
guess,
Shia
you
LaBeouf-
like Captain
until
Planet.
Shia LaBeouf came. Yeah, dude, he's our hero. He takes pollution down to zero. But
You know
if
it
you
too.
if this was Captain Planet, you would be the heart ring.
I would. I'd
You would
turn
definitely
that
be
shit off.
I'd be the
man.
black guy. I'd be like making infrastructures.
You know what happened when Captain Planet was on? I went in the woods. And played with guns and was like, all right, I'm going to go be the Predator. That's why I didn't watch Captain
Damn,
Planet.
dude.
and
I could
fucking
just
get
imagine
outta
you
here.
with a mustache in the woods with a gun saying, ooh, I'm a little predator.
Yeah, now that's what I say when I'm driving around in my van.
Right. All right. So at this point, Zach is MIA. I don't know if you know this, but Zach used to teach Holland when Holland was a little kid.
No.
Well, that was it. Like, he was part of like the big kids, right? And then my buddy Mike was training with Holland when they were little in Tiger Showman's, and they would see Zach. Zach was the first MMA champion. Well, back then it was NHB, so it was no holds barred, right? So
Just
they're
like
just
the
like
movie.
There's a movie called No Holds Barred.
Yeah, with Hogan and Zeus.
I didn't know that.
Get out of here.
No, so yeah,
you're too
Zach
busy
was the
watching
first
Care
champion
Bears.
ever, and basically they're like, listen, you kickboxed before. They were like, it's just a fist fight. Just go and beat his ass. And then like they did like a little bit of grappling, I guess. And then they got like progressively better as anything. Where the fuck was it? All right, I digress
I'm sure
all
that
the way
their
back.
view on how their history went is different than
No,
that.
this is straight up how it is. I'm telling you right now from the fucking OG Bomb Squad days.
Yeah, I'll have to get Zach and JM and you in here because that would be such a fun
Oh,
show.
dude, we'll talk. I'll tell you the whole story right now.
No, because there is like that's when. Like, because when you came down here, like, you went to the bathroom or something, and JM was talking to me. I forget what fight it was, and I was like, yo, he's hilarious. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I've known George for a very long time.
dude,
I
I
didn't
know-
realize you guys, like, knew each other,
That's my brother. I'm the godfather of JM's child.
That's awesome.
Also. So so Zach MIA Holland is I think he just started teaching when I started, and then like as we started training. Okay,
So the times, the schedule.
the
Yeah, the
schedule
schedule's
changed. That's where we were.
flopped. Yeah.
So the schedule was flopped. Holland wasn't. So there was two student teachers, I guess, like the next head
Were they
honchos
packed
there.
classes? Was Jiu
Fuck
Jitsu
fuck
popular
dude.
back then?
Yo, Tiger Showman's makes $1 billion. There you got soccer moms, you got actual athletes, Olympic athletes.
Yeah.
You got fucking like normal video game players with guts. You know what I'm saying? You got everything. Like they run the gambit of the who's who of everybody fucking comes in there. All body types, all everything.
Yeah.
Men, women, everything. And that dude fucking sold classes for sure and still does. I'm sure he's crushing it. But okay, so they switched the classes. There was V, who was the head instructor, right? He's there. He's jacked with his thing, You're like, oh shit, Sensei V's coming out, right? It's like this, I don't even know how to explain it. But then there was Holland, and then this other kid, Tehran. And Holland is like a jiu-jitsu guy now. That's how you know him. But that wasn't at all the case. Holland was a badass fucking striker back in the day. That's all
when he
did.
posts the old stuff of like him fighting and shit, and I talked to him about that.
Oh,
it was either on Now We Go or when he used to do the Train or Don't, and we do it like this.
Yeah.
Like when he was talking about like where he was like a kid fucking up grown men.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was this one dude who had shame tattooed like this. And Holland, I used to call it the JM special. He like faked the jab and then came with a hook, just popped it on his chin, and he dropped that guy. And that guy was like 40 years old. I think he was from some like, I don't know where the fuck he was from. He was like from Peru or something. And they're like, hey, in Peru, they don't use shin guards.
Greece.
So we need to fight with no shin guards. And I was like, okay, fine, let's fucking fight with no shin guards.
It's the
I don't give a
wrong
fuck.
person
and then
to
just
throw
put a
that
left
kind
hook
of
on his
shit
chin. Anyway, so the classes had changed. And now you know that there's 3 people. V, who owns the school. Then there was Holland and Christian Tehran, who was fighting for the school.
Yeah.
And then also teaching classes, right? So my class was my first one ever of jiu-jitsu was with Tehran, right? And he was like the grappler, right? Holland was the kickboxer. Tehran was the grappler of like Tiger Strongest. Not like they both kickboxed and they both grappled and they did it well.
They just played roles.
Anyway, so we went through our first class. I don't know what the fuck they were teaching. It was probably like a near side arm bar or something like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So they drilled a little, and then like Christian Tehran, little guy, not a big dude, maybe 130 pounds the most, soaking wet. But anyway, it got to the end of the class. They're like, okay, guys, now's the time where it's like rolling or sparring, and you don't have to spar or whatever, or you can like, I don't know. So there's like, you could stay or you can not. But basically, if you don't, you're a pussy, right? It's like, this is where the men come to play, is how it was like said to me. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'll just fucking do that. The guy I was like drilling with was, I don't know. I don't even know who the fuck it was, but I just remember I literally, just like I thought, I just pushed him over and I just mounted him, but I didn't know what the fuck to do. So I just kind of held him with like his arms pinned and I tried to get him in a headlock, right? That's all I knew. So I was like, damn, not only am I never going to do jiu-jitsu again, this shit is easy and it's so gay. But like, I was like, or maybe I do it. I'll just be the world champion tomorrow.
Yeah.
No big deal. Anyway, Tehran's like, hey, not bad. He's like, you want to roll with me? I'm like, sure, why not? I got like 40 pounds on you. Easy, right? So he's like, okay, I guess I'll take it easy on you. Or I guess you'll take it easy on me. And then we rolled. And I think, dude, he choked me out like a good amount of times. And it was like a lot of the same. It was like a lot of rear naked chokes. I remember getting rear naked chokes like 2-3 times and like arm barred a few times. I'm like, damn, he's fucking me up everywhere. And like, I was just like saying tap and tapping. And I was tapping the mat because I didn't know at that time, right? Like you tap the person. And then I don't even know how long the rounds were. Maybe there were 6 minutes, maybe there were 5, but he got me a good amount of times that I remember it in that round. So then I was like, fuck, he is a scrawny little bitch. No offense to Christian, like you're not a large man, I'm sorry. But I'm like, I'm this big. I'll just learn how to do that and then I can do that to Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? Like if he can do that to me, I can do that to any human on planet Earth. So then where I was going to kickboxing like all the time, because there's this weird thing where you start training either kickboxing or jiu-jitsu. It's like you get addicted. You do get addicted. Yeah. You have like passion. You know what I'm saying?
I loved going.
And your passion, it's like, and then you just think about it, right? You go home and that's all you. But back then there wasn't a lot. Like everybody had their secret moves, right? And then like no one was really posting them. Now you can fucking Google everything. Like you can find any move that's ever been on YouTube. Right back then, you were trying to illegal download.
I follow Ricky, who teaches the boxing classes there, and like,
Nuno.
Yeah,
Ricky Nuno,
I want to have him
Ricky
on. But like, he shares people who actually like break down moves and like a lot of the stuff that he shares. I was like, oh shit! Like if you were boxing and like you could learn a fuck ton of stuff just from people doing like instructional shit.
Oh, absolutely. But with anything, you can do that with whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like
carpentry and plumbing, but like. If you have someone who's like an elitist or anybody at a like a high level, because you can learn anything, right?
Yeah.
But you won't have anyone to tell you this is what you're fucking up. No one will ever tell you what you're doing wrong, and that's how you like learn. You take out the what you're doing negatively or wrong, and then the move becomes perfect.
Yeah.
Right? So that's like the pro and con of learning it from the internet. So you can learn all that shit from the internet, but if you like fuck up or like your hips are off to the side, but you're still getting an armbar, you'll never know that it's not right. And then you go to do it on someone who knows, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll be like, they just shut it down. So that was my first jiu-jitsu class. I got just my ass handed to me. And then from that point on, I was like, fuck. Well, in the beginning, I was like, man, fuck this. That's bullshit. I was like, I'll punch that dude in the face. Even though he'd punch me in the face. He was a great fighter. But anyway, so I went back. I was like, I'm just going to keep doing this. Until it became that I didn't even train striking anymore at all. I was just obsessed with jiu-jitsu. And I was obsessed with like little guy jiu-jitsu. I mean, I'm like fat as hell now, but I always fluctuate between going from fat to just right before being in shape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, so I would spend a lot of time. I would go there, and then we would get drunk too. So when we turned 21, so think about this. As I would train more, Holland would teach more. And it got to the point where he was teaching like 4 days a week. And since he was on the fight squad, he had to drive the fight squad. He would have to drive to main campus or HQ, whatever the fuck it was. Tiger Schulman's like New Jersey or New York, where like all the Tiger Schulman's fighters are, because they're not leaving to come to Bethlehem, right? So every week he would have to go like twice a week in his like little shitty, like that thing had like 500,000 miles on it, easy. So he's teaching 4 classes. V's gets the day off. He has to drive up and down through the thing, and he's fighting for Tiger Schulman's, right? And I don't know, I'm not gonna say what they were paying him, but what I'm saying is it should have been more, right? So we're getting better. And then like Zach starts coming back, and get this, excuse me. I was taking, so every once in a while I'll always take classes, right? Like I like taking, like I'll go to NAC, or I'll go to El Tracy, or I'll go to the Fun Lab, and I'll learn how to like sew, or I'll do like a fucking like history class, or I'll do, you know what I'm saying, like once a year.
We just started talking about signing up for at NAC is having like cooking courses, but it's like on making bread.
Oh,
and
very
I'll
cool.
like now that I'm like a little bit older and like understand like what you can do with like, because I'll go there and take a class and learn some basic stuff on baking, but then I'll take it and make my own shit with it. And
Right.
like that's what I learned from cooking, where I can like now, like, you know, if I could go take a course on, you know, whatever, cooking steaks, then you could apply that to other shit. So like it's funny you say that, because I just started recently looking into
Hell yeah.
signing up for like evening courses, but I took it's funny when you get older, you're more interested in school because you find shit that you want to take. But I took a couple business classes and shit at night and whatnot. It's not a bad thing to do.
Yeah, I'll get to that too. I actually, we'll get to the business classes thing as well. So Zach was in a class at, I think it was NAC. It was at NAC, and I didn't know who the fuck he was, but he sat next to me or in front of me, but like close. And we had a teacher who stutters, and I was like, dude, get a fucking load of this guy, right?
Oh
and then
God,
we
you bully.
we kept talking. Dude, I'll talk shit. It's not bullying.
No. I'm just
But,
breaking your balls for somebody who loves Captain Planet so
Right?
much. You think you would have learned a lesson?
I just don't litter, dog. I just talk shit and don't litter. So I'm sat next to Zach, right? And he doesn't know who I am, and I don't know who he is, right? And it just like da-da-da. And then I don't know how it came up, but Tiger Schulman's. And I'm like, dude, I train at Tiger Schulman. He's like, bro, I used to have a Tiger Schulman's. And then so I went back to Holland. I was like, hey, do you know who the fuck this Zach Mr. Salami guy is?
Mr.
I'm
Salami?
like, dude, it's Masalani is how I've been saying it forever. And
What is it,
Holland-
Maslany?
No, it's not. It's Maslany.
Yeah.
Maslany. I thought it was Masalani. Masalani, that's how V would say it. The
Yeah, I'm trying to
fucking
think how
instructor.
I pronounce it
That's
now.
how
Zach
everyone on earth said it
Zach
at Tiger
Maslany.
Schulman.
Zach,
And
I don't
he
even
was
know how to
just-
say his name.
Bro, he's so polite. I guess he never corrected
Yeah.
people, or he did.
I
But
don't.
when
I
you're
mean,
14,
nobody knows
dude.
how to say my fucking name. It's Fauerbach. Everyone always pronounces it.
Fauerbach.
Yeah.
Fauerbach.
Yeah, but it's always wrong. And I just whatever.
My last name's Katechis.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't even
Katechis
like when
works,
I see your
Americans.
name on Instagram. Like I just see it. Like I see it, but it's
That's
not.
it.
I don't. It doesn't comprehend in my head.
All right.
It's not a word to me.
So I go back to Holland. I'm like, hey, do you know who the fuck this Zach Maslany guy is? Like, oh my God. He's like, dude, he's a legend. He's like, he used to teach me when I was a kid. And like the first champion, and I don't know how, but somehow we just ran back this old tape. So there was some badass motherfuckers coming out of Tiger Schulman's, and not just Holland and Zach. There was this dude, Shannon Maceo. I don't know if you know who Shannon Maceo is, or whoever the fuck is listening to this shit, but Google that motherfucker. He was like a Mike Tyson who would just knock everybody out viciously, and he was the fucking man. So we would like watch these. There's like a few of these Tiger Schulman's dudes that are just like crazy good. Even I think Tiger Schulman was like spin kicking dudes in the heel with his heel, just knocking everyone out back in the day. He's undefeated. Everyone's undefeated, right?
Yeah, I always knew it because it was on.
But Shannon
what is that?
Maceo's
190, not
documented.
191. Is that 191 or 248?
Yeah, 191.
It's on 191 all the way
that's
out.
The one,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the one
yeah.
that we were at.
The
So
Home
we were
Depot.
teaching there, right? And then we were competing, and Zach started training again too, and we're like, sweet, and we were just like doing jujitsu, right? And it was cool, and we had like our own little crew, and we called it the Finishers too, because there was Finishers Bar at Zach's house, which we would get fucked up all the time. You don't know this, but when me and Holland turned 21, we didn't miss a day. So, when I turned 21, Holland turned 21 first, and he was still like, and Holland was, think about also this, that Holland was an MMA champion, and we were drinking every fucking day. Even the day before, we would go out all the time. Even if we weren't going to drink, and we were broke too. Like, we would go to Soto Santi's. We'd get
I want to go out.
$4 pitchers. $4 pitchers, and we would be like, instead of picking up girls, we'd be like, dude, okay, we could spend all night we would just, like, any chick, you know what I'm saying? Just convince them to buy us beer. You know what I'm saying? And then if you're down, then you get me as the prize.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I made it about
yeah.
me. I was like,
Yeah.
we are the prize.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
buy us
yeah.
a pitcher. Buy my boy Holland a pitcher too. And then me and Holland would cheers our pitchers and walk away. Right? No, I'm just kidding. No, we would hang on to them. But dude, we were going out every night. There was one time where we went out the night before Holland fought. Holland fought and won that time. He's like, damn. He's like, I mean, I know I won, but we can't be drinking all the time and every day like that. And I'm like, I know.
But that's what you do in your early 20s.
I
I
know.
can't do that shit now.
Dude, I looked at him too. I was like, I know. And then we just kept doing it, right?
Yeah, it's what you do.
So in the midst, like we would go to the bars or whatever, but then Zach had his own crib, right? And then so Zach was married.
So where
again.
was the Finishers Bar? At Zach's
At
house?
Zach's house. There was a sign right above his basement, and no one even went in the fucking basement. We just chill in the kitchen, right? And he would have like barbecues. We tried to deep fry a bunch of shit and failed the one time. But so it was Finishers Bar, and that's because Zach got kicked out of Starters with his boys the one time, drunk as fuck. And he's like, fuck you and fuck your organization. We're going to make our own bar. We're going to call it Finishers Bar. Fuck Starters. Right? I think his boy Tim. So we would like train and get drunk, and then we called it like the Finishers Crew, right? The Jews. And we were really good at jiu-jitsu and fucking still are. So we just kept training. Zach had actually visited California and trained with like Eddie Bravo, and there was a picture, and we were like, oh shit, Eddie Bravo is so cool, right? Because he's like kind of like a celebrity, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
And like, and Rogan and all those other motherfuckers. But like, as far as like the jiu-jitsu community went, it was like, oh, the one problem child was like, he turned his back on the jiu-jitsu community. He's like, nah, he just didn't want to wear a gi, right?
Yeah.
But like, that's how it was there. So it was like, oh shit, let's do like, you know, and we would do rubber guard and stuff like that. Like I wanted to learn rubber guard only because it worked. I heard someone who was really good being like, oh damn, if only you got me with that rubber guard shit. I don't know that yet. And I was like, damn, I just want to learn that, because if these guys who are good are getting caught with that shit, then I'll just learn it now and then be on top of that. Anyway, so we were training. And then we went out to, it was like in Cozy or something. And there was an Eddie Bravo seminar, right? So we go to that. And then we like show up as finishers, right? Like that's what we wrote in our thing. Because at this point, Holland's like, not that he's out the door. He has a lot of love and respect for V. I can't talk for him, right? But dude, he was, again, he was working. He was like a single mother in that place, right? He's like full time there, driving up and down through headquarters. He's given the other dude like 3 days off during the week. You know what I'm saying? And like running the whole thing. So he's like, fuck. But so maybe he was like kind of on his way out. He's like, I want to get paid more. I should be getting paid more. Why am I not getting paid more? We go to this Nkosi thing, and it was a seminar. So we did a seminar, and we learned from Eddie that day. And me, Holland, Tehran went, Zach, and then Garzillo, this other dude, Garzillo, is Zach's boy, and they were training Tiger Schulman's back in the day together on the come up. We go to the Nkosi thing. We were like, yeah, sweet. We got a picture with Eddie in our Tiger Schulman stuff. I'll show you that later if you want to see it.
Yeah.
Like our first encounter. I think it was like 2012, right? And then we go back and and now we start hammering jiu-jitsu. Like we're balls deep about jiu-jitsu. Then there was an Nkosi tournament, which it was like our guys, most of our guys, but not really. It was just like the finishers. So it was like me, Zach, this kid Edwin, and like, I don't know, maybe like a few other people. But I think that was it. It's just me, Zach, and Edwin. And like maybe Zach's wife, I think, competed too. But we did this competition. I went against, it was like, it was cool because it was the first of super fights that we were ever like did. Everybody sat kind of around the mat and it was like packed out. And then the competitors would go one at a time. So everybody was watching you, which back then it was never. Like we competed in Nagas and grappling tournaments and fucking Joe's Backyard Brawl or whatever the fuck it was called. But it was, you know, like mat 6, mat 7 or whatever. This is the first time it was like, damn, one mat and everybody gets to watch you. So Holland goes against some kid and he twisters him. And we're like, oh shit. It was like the coolest shit ever. And then it was my turn to go. And at this point, I'm like I don't even know what the fuck belt I was in Tiger Schulman. So there's like belts and there's like a belt with a white stripe in the middle and then you get stripes on that. I had no idea, nor did I ever give a fuck about that. But I had to go against Rodney, the owner of the Hammer Gym.
Yeah, right? I had him on the podcast.
I love Ronnie. Yeah. So check this out. So we go against, I go against Ronnie and we do like 15 minutes and no one taps anybody. And at the end, we're like best friends, right? And we just both went and threw up and then like that was it. And we're like, everyone was pumped. And then ipso skipso, we're training. When we did another seminar, so he had come again, except he went to Rochester. So we just went to Rochester, me, Zach, and Holland. We drove out to Rochester for the East Coast training camp, they would call it back then, right? Where it's Chris Herzog would have it, and then he'd have like 10th Planet Montreal, Louis Ho. Yo, shout out Louis Ho, I love you. But and all those dudes would come through, and then we're like, oh shit, it's all the 10th Planet guys, da-da-da-da-da. And then so we got to meet them for the first time. We did the whole seminar. We were there like a day or two. They're like, hey, are you like gold members on the website? I'm like, yeah, I'm a gold member. I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. Like, all right, cool, it's only $10 for you. I'm like, sweet. I think I'm a gold member. Anyway, we did, and during that time that we were in Rochester, there was a tournament around Zach's weight. And mind you, Zach before this tournament was getting ready to do a kickboxing fight or an MMA. It was either an MMA fight or a kickboxing fight, but he just put in a full boxing camp. That's it. All he did was just a full boxing camp, and with Holland, right? Holland's holding the pads like a wizard, and Zach's just tripling up on a jab. And that was like for 5 months. That's a made up number, but it was a long camp. We go up to Rochester for this East Coast training camp, and then there's this tournament, and some kid I guess pulled out, and they're like, hey, can anyone fill in? Actually, before the tournament even started, Zach just pulls the guys away. He's like, hey, if anyone pulls out, I want you to know that I can fill in. They're like, yeah, okay, guy who we don't know, but we got it from here. And then there was like, hey, unfortunately, some fucking guy pulled out. Can anyone fill in? And Zach's like, me. And I'm like, my boy Zach. My boys, we're finishers. We're finishers, MMA and jiu-jitsu. And I was like so pumped. And then we got him in. I was like, yeah, right? So Zach goes through the whole fucking tournament and he makes it to the final with like the best guy from Rochester, which was Scott fucking Yodels or whatever the fuck his name is. And then he ended up losing the thing, but he went from zero. Ooh, I just hit the microphone a little bit. He went from like nobody, right, to going all the way to the finals. And the whole time he was competing, he was using like rubber guard, and shit like that, because that's all we would drill, dude. We were practicing rubber guard and like in half and deep half, all that shit, lockdown for the whole, ever since like, you know, Finisher's Bar or whatever. That was our secret shit, and we'd hit that on everybody, right? So then, and Eddie was the judge at this tournament, Eddie Bravo. So he's like, damn, nice rubber guard. At the one point, you know, like he's competing against all these dudes. Anyway, he ends up losing, but at that point, he's like, all right, fuck this. We're doing our own thing. And And I was like, all right, we're in, right? So me, Holland, and Zach are going to start Finishers MMA and Jiu Jitsu now, right? God damn it. So
his name's Kevin. He's a part of the show at this point.
Fuck him.
Hey, dude, he's good people.
It's okay.
Kevin the
You
Fly.
can hate good people. You can hate good people. You can love them. Anyway, so this is where Finisher starts. At that point, we were no longer training at Tiger Showman's, which thank God, because it started getting expensive. I wasn't paying, but I knew that I was going to have to start paying.
Yeah.
Because I took too many non-paying things, right? So I'm like, yeah, guys, I think this is a good idea. Right, so the first thing, look, so we went out, me, Han, and Zach went to some like bullshit thing. It was like business. If you're starting a business, it was at Lehigh too. So it had like all these credentials, and it was like these two fucking idiots that with like their shirts tucked in, and they were trying to talk to us. I don't know what they were saying. They're like, listen, if you want this, you got to do this. And I'm like, well, why? And I was like, hey, like, what business do you own? They're like, we don't. We just know everything about business. I was like, except you don't have one. And then at the one point, they're like, what you really need to do is you need to get weights into the place. And he's like, no, dude, we don't want it to be a weightlifting place. We just want it to be jiu-jitsu. And they're like, yeah, but think about all the extra people that you get just lifting weights. He's like, yeah, this is bullshit. And then we like walked out, right? So we were like so hyped. We were like, damn.
Don't you think it's crazy though that
get
people
all this business knowledge?
Don't you think it's crazy that, because I had a similar experience going to NAC when I went to that business course, and the guy who was teaching me ended up being my old gym teacher from high school who wasn't running a business. And then I was like, oh, this dude's just like picking up extra cash part-time because he works for a Catholic school and they're not paying like private school. And I'm like, so this guy's just picking up money and reading out of a book.
That's what
and then
I'm
like,
saying.
and then when I went to the I got through it. And the only reason I learned that is they teamed us up with a partner and we had to create a business. And the guy they teamed me up with was only there to learn the back end of the business because he was running a successful pool company. And he was like, yo, we're just going to use Never Again as our business. And he's like, I'll show you everything with creating a business plan. So like we basically created a business plan for Never Again. But if I wouldn't have been paired up with that guy, I wouldn't have learned shit. And then like the teacher was impressed with what we were doing. And then I could tell that now he was like learning shit from my partner. And then we went to the marketing point, and then I was like, hey, I sell t-shirts. And she's like, well, what's your selling point? And I'm like, well, I only want to be $20. And she's like, that's so wrong. You need to sell $35 to $45 t-shirt. And I'm like, lady, no one's buying a $45 t-shirt. And then I ended up leaving, and like all the stuff that she told me was wrong. She was like telling me that you have to invest in these things and like get on billboards, and like all the shit that they told me in that I don't do now. And it's like everything I needed to do was that, like what you were saying earlier, was like you're just learning, making mistakes, fixing it as you go, and like growing a fucking business. Like there are basic things that you can learn, but I didn't learn any of that shit. And then it's crazy that there's like just two guys who don't run businesses, making you pay for them to tell you how to run a business.
That's what I'm saying. Without like doing it themselves, like I have no idea how are you credentialed? Like where?
Yeah.
I don't know how to run a business because you fucking binge drank through 4 years of your bachelor degree. Like that means nothing to me. People like tell me all about like I have a bachelor's degree too that I wipe my ass with. I don't give a fuck about it, and it holds no water. Anyway, I digress. So we left this bullshit business thing, and we're like, all right, fuck it. If we're gonna make this happen, we need a spot to make this happen out of. Now, at the time, Hammer had like 800 million square feet.
Yeah, I remember Jesse telling me that
number. Yeah, so they had like closed. You would open a door and it was like another full fucking
like finisher.
dojo.
The Finisher's headquarters times 5.
Dude, it was. I don't know. The new place we got is pretty fucking big and awesome. So I don't know, but I just remember I was like, I never saw anything like this before. I was like, holy shit! I was like, there's like places, there's like corners that were like 1,200 square feet of just collecting dust.
Yeah,
because it was just like empty. So we're like, hey, can we? I don't know what the hell they were paying. We were paying them like $20 or something a month. I was like, we just want to use a mat just to train our guys, and it worked out. So I went to Rodney, and I was like, yeah, and like we like developed a pretty good relationship at that point. Everyone was cool, so he let us run it out of Rodney's gym. So thank God, and then we kind of got it started, right? And our first move, he was like, fuck these business guys from Lehigh, they're pieces of shit who clearly don't know shit. We're gonna get an iPad, right? That was it. We're like, dude, once we have a fucking iPad.
It's so
this
crazy because this is what you do with like. I remember buying my iMac and being like, once I have this iMac, I'm going to be able to edit and this whole thing will come together. I didn't need that iMac until 7 years later.
Bro, okay, that's great. So this is a great transition. So at this point, like iPads were new. Not new, but they were newer, right?
Yeah.
So this was even either the first iPad or the second one that ever existed.
Yeah, it's just apps.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude, and we're like, dude, once we have the iPad, we can get like the schedules in there.
Yep.
We can get like all the things. We can get one of those plug-in things to swipe cards. Like everything is going to set up. So we got this fucking iPad and we just didn't use it at all.
Yep.
We used it for like fucking to watch YouTube and like play music when our phones died, and that was it.
Yep.
Right? The iPad just like in the beginning we did like we put like notes in there, we're like acting like we like knew what the fuck
you
was
have
going on.
meetings.
Yeah, it was like meetings scheduled right in the iPad.
George, you want to use the iPad tonight?
What we were using it for, because look, we knew we wanted to be 10th Planet 100%, because it was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
It was no gi. We had no intention of doing any gi. And like Eddie's the man. It was a good brand too. It's a strong brand. And like it was like right there with like, I don't know, not our, I guess, ideologies. Yeah, that's a great word to use. So we're like, boom, we're going to make it to 10th Planet. So what we had to do was, because we're on the forums, right? Back then the forum of 10th Planet was active. Now it's not, because it's just the NWO or whatever. They're just in that group chat. So we're on the forum like, hey, what do we got to do? So we use the iPad. This is where the iPad did come in clutch. We would just record ourselves doing the whole 10th Planet gambit. So we did like Lockdown, all the sweeps from Lockdown, and I still to this day have this shit like ingrained. That's like one of the biggest parts of my game is like the Lockdown half guard. But so we do like Lockdown, whip ups, whip downs, all that shit, like, you know, mission control, like everything. So you'd have to do like the whole gambit from everything to get your blue belt, and you wouldn't be able to open a school without being a blue belt, right? So, all right, we're gonna get all this shit recorded, and then we're gonna go to California, show them the fucking iPad that we bought with all of our money, right? And then we gotta be in,
You
right?
can't say
He's
no.
like, dude, yeah, because there's no 10th Planet over here. It'd be just bad business to not want to grow your shit. So it's about time. So like we have it, everything's recorded. We're gonna go out to California, and I got the flu. I had the flu for 2 weeks, and I had like 102 fever like every day. I wasn't eating or anything. I lost mad weight. I looked good as shit. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't feel good as shit during that time. So I got the flu right when we were supposed to go to California, which sucked. So Holland and Zach went to California. I guess he showed them the iPad or whatever. Or maybe we put it on the forum itself. It might still exist. Like the whip ups, the whip downs, all that shit. Like Plan B. You know what I'm saying? Old school from the Lockdown. But you needed to know all of that and have it recorded for some reason. I don't know why, but that was a rule. And then maybe you get your blue belt. But anyway, they flew out. They got the okay to make it a moon. So now their schools, back then it was 10th Planet moons. You were a moon of a 10th planet, right? And we were at 10th Planet Allentown before Thor School, right? Because we started in Allentown. I don't think this is the first time that it's 10th Planet Bethlehem and it's actually in fucking Bethlehem. But we were like 10th Planet Allentown and fucking Hellertown. And we were 10th Planet Bethlehem and Easton, right? So they got the first place. At that point, I was like, listen, Jiu Jitsu is going to be like a big part of my life, but it's not going to be the whole thing, right? So Zach and Holland went along. I was like, I'm just going to train for free. And they're like, okay, cool. That sounds good with us. So, yeah. So they got the first place, which I think was Vag's place, Savaggio, on that strip mall. Yeah, that's the first one. And it was like an income like the Jones Brothers and all of that. And we like started getting our first crew. There was a lot of carryover from when we were training and teaching at Hammer.
Yeah.
And then like they came over, like and then also carry on over from Tiger Showman's, like Mike Ortiz, dude. Mike Ortiz was finishers before anyone was finisher. Mike Ortiz got finishers tattooed on his forearm before that shit even really existed. When it was just our little training group. It was like, dude, what a great dude that guy is. And he's still training. He's not doing jiu-jitsu anymore. He's just striking, right? But, you know, he's got like 17 kids. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot.
Yeah, you don't have time to do all that. But, yeah, I've been training there forever. Yeah, with Holland. Holland was my first martial arts teacher, I guess, right? Because V, I don't know why. I never got classes with V. So Holland, the way I met Holland, too, is like in the first day of Tiger Schulman's. At the end, he's like, yeah, dude, just like help me lock up and all that other shit. I was like, yeah, okay, no problem. And I was like, yo, drive me around, because he would park in the back, we'd have to lock the door in the front, and it's like a big ass building you have to walk around. So he got in the car. He's like, "Yo, is this Kid Cudi?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You want to be best friends?" And I was like, "Sure."
Yeah, I didn't know you guys were that tight till that time you came down here. And then, like, how you were when you're drunk, like, I was like, that's how I like to be. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get along great with George. And then I never really saw Holland kind of, because there's different versions of JM. You know, like if he's stressed out or whatever, he's just, but like I never saw him relaxed. And then, like, I was like, oh, all right. And then, like, that was the first time I kind of had, like, beers and, like, really hung out with JM. And then you were there. And then that was kind of, like, that's when I started piquing interest. And I think I texted JM the next day and was like, yo, George is awesome. And he's like, dude, I've known George for forever.
Yeah, no,
he's
dude,
like, we drink in my garage.
Yo, so check this out. JM, I don't know if you know this, but I don't remember the first time. When we were at Tiger Schulman's, I remember him showing me, because we were training all the fucking time. And at that point, like, you know, it like becomes your family, kind of, because you're with these people every fucking day.
You spend more time with them than you do anyone else.
But he showed me when, damn, like, I don't know how old he was. I'm gonna say a random number, like 4 or 5, but it had a little card. And it was like from like kindergarten. It was like, when I grow up, I want to, and it literally said like, own a martial arts school, be a black belt, and all that shit.
That's badass, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, those guys are cool. I ran into them through Dan. That's how I started talking to Zach and Jet. Yeah, because Dan knew them and was training at the school, and then they were doing the Finishers podcast out of Dan's basement, and then that was the first time where I started listening to another podcast in the area and was like, oh, these guys are like actually doing a podcast. Yeah. Like there was other podcasts, but like
Zach has a fantastic radio voice.
Yeah, so like that was the first time that I was like saw a developed show. Like there was people trying to do other podcasts, but there wasn't anyone like putting in the reps, the numbers. I was like, I'm at a couple hundred episodes. These guys are at a couple hundred episodes. I'm like, they're like grinding this shit out and taking it serious the way I am. And then they needed a spot to do. I had the studio in Bethlehem. It was still only audio. We were over by Billy's Downtown Diner paying way too much for rent. The landlord was a total dildo. And then Dan hit me up because we had him on for cryo stuff. And then he was like, yo, can we use the studio? The guys are going to interview Eddie Bravo. And something was going on with the equipment they had, or Ross wasn't available. I forget what it was, but that was the first time like we meshed. And then I was like,
shout out Ross Scherer, the man.
Yeah. And then it was like, that's when I met Ross. That's when I met Dan. And then they were over by Jimmy John's at the time. And I was cooking over at the Newburgh Deli because that was still open on that block. And then I had them on the show, and then it was just, we just started meshing, and I just started talking to all them, and it was like, like I don't know the timeline exactly, but that was when I think they started really showcasing Grace, and like Grace's come up was during that time. If it's correct, I might be a little off, but like that's, and then like, and then it was like I started following them, and then watching JM. Like that was so awesome when I started seeing him on Fight Pass. Like I was like, yo, but that was so cool to watch. And then it's just been the relationship. And then like people ask me, or like sometimes people try and like fuck with the show and then they want to plug into it. And like what I've done with Zach and JM with like, I've never done that before with anyone. We're connecting two things. Like I have people that are signing up for classes that listen to this show, and then I have people from the school buying my apparel and listening to it. Like that was it wasn't easy to do, but we completely meshed both networks together.
It was a great marriage.
But we had an idea of doing it, and we just, and I remember even when we were doing Train or Don't, like I was talking to JM, and I was like, yo, that wasn't easy to do. But it was, us just constantly being like, no, I fuck with this person. I fuck with that person. And then that was just kind of like, it's been nonstop since, and watching the school grow. And like, just from hearing your end of it, of where it started, and then picking it up at Jimmy John's, like I always tell the both of them, like, and anyone who brings that up, I'm like, those dudes were living in, like they were such motivation to me at the time, because I was by myself in this business trying to get it going. It's been, we're like, when you're in a business and you're in it long term and you constantly keep failing at it, it's very difficult. But then when you get I run into these two guys where like they're like, yo, fuck that. Like at that point I was embarrassed. I was like living in a studio, and those guys are like, dude, I've been on my couch. We fucking eating chicken nuggets in the back of the fucking dojo, and like that was the first time I started fucking with people that actually put in the work towards what I wanted to go towards. I don't know. They're special people.
Dude, yeah, I remember in the beginning, Holland lived with me for a little bit, but he was in the school, and it's not like he was just like teaching jiu-jitsu and life was good and let's get super rich and just teach jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but that's how people perceive shit like
every
that.
time. Well, yeah, and again, like in jiu-jitsu, it's easy to like fall in love with jiu-jitsu and be like, damn, one day I'm gonna teach and have my own school. Like, and you're like, dude, you just got your blue belt. Maybe calm down and wait. Like Holland and Zach didn't just like have the new fucking Mel's Putt and Play giant school and just start crushing it. Holland was working like 2 jobs. One of them was. Shit, it was like the Muscle Maker Grill where the guy got caught.
Yeah, he also worked at
mixing chemicals for the fucking for like Hunt's barbecue. And dude, he would come like and then directly come and train with us.
Well, he always brings up horns.
Check this out, and goes bump, and he was just a snot boogie of like barbecue sauce powder. He was just like mixing these powders and then coming and training like 12 hours.
Well, he worked at Horns too.
Out at Horns.
Yeah, because he said he always wanted to learn how to cook, and then he was there and he said it was and that place was dope. And then the owner, something happened, same type of shit where it got shut down, and that was like hipster fucking food before the area even knew what hipster food was. I knew about it because I was coming from fucking Virginia where it was like, dudes riding on unicycles down the fucking street with fucking circus mustaches. But now, but then when Horns came out, that was the first like farm to table shit in the area where it was like, hey, this is locally sourced from this area. And that still goes down as like one of the best places that was in the fucking valley. And he said he was working there and like was just starting to learn how to cook, and then something happened, and I'm not getting into that. We've done it in the past on the show, but then the fucking owner, it went under.
Yeah, well, fuck them. Anyway, so finishers, which is way cooler than Horns.
I'm just saying he worked there.
Dude, some of the characters that came out of our gym are like the coolest of all time, and there's still some that are on the come up. And I remember, okay, so when we were training at Hammer, there was coincidentally we're in the mall, right? And we're just like around in the mall, and we meet this one dude, Gabe Terrada, right? He's the owner of Miami, but started teaching.
Yeah, I see. This is interesting because I never knew how Gabe came in the mix.
Yo, Gabe had some training. He trained in the gi or whatever, and like a nice good attitude with him too, like a nice little set of confidence on him, right? But he didn't know that we got down. You know what I'm saying? So he was at Express, and we were like, yeah, dude. He's like, yo, you guys train? Is that shit? I thought that was only in California. I was like, nah, dude, we're here. We're out of Hammer. So he comes through, and Gabe's not so bad. But, he wasn't so good either at that point. But then, like, right away, he was on the team. And I was like, Gabe, now you're the hookup at Express. So then I would pay for a tie, get 3 or 4 shirts and a pair of pants. You know what I'm saying? And then Gabe got good quick. He was teaching gi, I think, at Hammer, and then no gi obviously was training.
I didn't know Gabe was that back early on at Hammer.
Yeah, Gabe actually stayed teaching gi at Hammer even when we went to Jimmy John's. But yeah, he's that early. Same with Chris, well, you don't know Big Chris. But Chris Sabwa, I don't know what the fuck his last name is, but his name is Big Chris. You know what I'm saying? I grew up, that's like a little brother of mine. He went to the army. He's going to be back now. Now he's like 600 pounds of he looks like the Mountain from Game of Thrones, but like a black guy with a mustache. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a Marine. So he's ginormous now. But before he was like a little kid. He was like a punk kid just like Hene. So Renee Souza and Chris were like these training partners, right? Because they were like kids on the come up together. And Hene wasn't the good one either. Hene now is gonna I like mark my words, that kid's gonna be a fucking champion. He just gotta figure out. I think he's like figured out who he is too. Because in the beginning, Renee was like, oh, like plant based. You know what I'm saying? Like breathe in through your nose. And he's like, check out my meat sponsorship. You know what I'm saying? Like it changed. But he's dude, he's the man. He's definitely. I definitely think he's a championship level. Probably right now. I have no idea. I haven't trained in like a year, but that dude's been crushing it, and he's only getting better, and he's like about it. You know what I'm saying? He's passionate. But now you're going to have Chris coming back too. And now where Chris was like the better of the two, Renee's going to fucking smoke Chris. And Chris is a huge dude. He's a big boy. But Chris is going to learn again, and then you're going to have another force in that spot as well of like super heavyweight. I don't even think they have heavyweights as big as him. Because, like, what's the cutoff? 260, right?
I have no clue.
He's 290 easy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when you said that there's so many people that came out of it, like, I told Zach you were coming on today, and I said that, I had Josh on yesterday, and I said, I'm just pulling people from the school now that are like I'm going to have Renee on, but
Dude,
there's
Josh,
so many awesome people, but like, and when I had Zach on, and even Brittany, like, I was like, yo, like, I don't get an hour and a half or 2 hours to sit and talk. Yeah, unless you're going out to a bar, but like,
right.
It would take so long to get to know all those people. I would never have the time. So like I told Zach, I'm like, I'm just grabbing people from the school that I run into that are cool and like fuck with the show.
Josh is a good kid.
Yeah.
Dude. I have no idea. I'm going to watch that because I don't know too much about him. All I know is like I don't have to say good things about him. He's not my best friend or anything, but I love that kid. I don't know why. He's a good dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's cool. He had a great story. I didn't know he was in the military. I didn't know a lot about him. And then I called him and I was like, hey, look, I'm just like going to kind of like, because I also try and push myself with interviewing where I don't want to just bring businesses on all the time because then I'm only going to be good at interviewing people with businesses, which is why when I've always wanted to have you on from that time I met you just because it's fuck around and just talk like this.
Hell yeah, dude. Shoot the shit.
Yeah, because I like building that because then you take that skill set and then you put it into a business interview and then it's not a fucking timeline of like, oh, when did you start? But I said to him like, yo, I'm just going to figure out like when you started fucking with finishers. So like I didn't know he's from Georgia. Like it was a rad interview, and then when he got into the strongman stuff, like that's what piqued my interest with following him. Is he's like carrying boulders in his
dude, there's
basement.
another dude, Miles, who also does strongman stuff.
Yeah,
but he doesn't look as if he would do strongman stuff, and he's so strong. I call him Miles the Mountain, and he's a really cool dude. Again, I haven't hung out with him that much, but all of my interactions with him are fucking dope. And I think he's like a brown belt now too. Like he's really good at jiu-jitsu too. Josh is good at jiu-jitsu. Renee's good at jiu-jitsu. I remember when Thor first started coming. So the Jones brothers came. It was Andrew Jones, who's the last of the Jones brothers, right? He's like the last Jedi of the group. But he all three of them. So he has three brothers, one older than the next. Jonesy's the little baby. And then they all like started training. They're like, yeah, we heard like, I think they heard it from Joe Rogan or something. Like it was like on some podcast. And then they started coming in, just the brothers. And then they wanted to get Thor coming back. But Thor fucking didn't want anything to do with jiu-jitsu because Thor was like, I don't know what tier wrestler he was, but he was up there.
Yeah.
Right? He was like really fucking good at wrestling, but like he was burnt out from wrestling. He's like, dude, I'm not going to compete. Definitely not. Like,
yeah, a lot of my friends who ran the gambit of wrestling are not.
Yeah, he was just.
Frick's probably the only person I know that like has a good mental on, and I can't wait to bring him on. We've tried to do it over the years, and I don't care what he's doing in his life. I just want to interview him about like
that's the man.
Because he's got a history in finishers as well.
Oh hell yeah, dude! He started coming right with the Jimmy John's place, and then again Thor started coming too. And I remember when Thor started coming, I was like, damn, it's a strong dude. I was like, this kid's never going to get good. He's gonna be one of those wrestlers, you know what I'm saying? It's like, if he doesn't have top, it's like, just sweep him, take his back, no big deal. And then like a month went by, right? And I was like, damn, this kid's a little better than before, right? And then like 4 months went by, and I was like, shit, this is like, dude, after a year, like Thor was so fucking good. I mean, he's not better than me, but you know what I'm saying? He got way better.
Well, when I interviewed him, when you get into the questioning and whatnot, you could just tell, because he even said, like, I went in, I got some wrestling background, and then when he broke down, like, the whole thing, like, you could just tell he was obsessed with it.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, it's so easy to become obsessed with jiu-jitsu. And the only people, and I see it now, too, there's some kids there. There's this, I don't know how old he is. His name's like Jimmy or whatever, but he's got that like fire, and he's like friends. I don't know if they're best friends, but it seems that way with Sid. Sid, the kid. Sid's a little kid now.
Yeah.
But he's finally.
It's fun watching him.
Right. But like now they're trained together too. And I remember that. I remember having like the itch. Like don't get me wrong. Like jiu-jitsu's still like my love. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like back in the day. That was the only thing on my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like I would train, and then I'd go home and be like, what are other dudes doing? Let me see how I can do that. And there's like a few dudes in the gym right now on the come up that I see that from, Like I could just see like the way they're posting, how they're like talking about it. They're just like all about, it's like light bulbs. Light is just shining when they think or talk about it. And I'm like, that's the kind of passion you have to be good. To at least get good.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're
even
just
following Sid on social media,
you don't
it's
just
his
show
life.
up and do like 30 curls and be like, all right, I got my 30 curls in. Yeah, you're going to learn some moves or whatever. But if you don't have like that drive and passion, like not that it has to be an obsession, but it usually does become one. But if you don't have that, you never get to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many fucking people in there that have that. And now we're the big ass school and everybody's coming to us. Before, like saying, dude, I heard that guy's a black belt. It's like, damn, am I going to get to roll with a black belt? Now you can roll with like 4 or 5 black belts a day. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy that exists, like where we're at. It's weird.
This is my favorite part about like when we would do Trainer Dope was such a cool show, but it was a mix of Never Again Radio and the Finishers podcast. But my favorite episodes, and I'm not going to give up on trying to get this done, is when they would talk about what you're talking about, those old stories of back in the day, and like when you get into like what JM was doing, what Zach was doing, and the history behind the school. That's what I want Trainer Don't to turn into. I want it to just be these guys coming down here and telling the old fucking war stories, telling the road stories, and just fucking dicking around and having beers. And I didn't know what this episode would be. I knew it wouldn't be.
I had no idea that we would even talk about jiu-jitsu or finishers. And then that's all it became. Speaking of, dude, we lost a good one too. Zach Edwards. He's the fucking man. Rest in peace. I love you. Dude, I remember when he first started coming in. So, okay, you know how I was talking about like passion and like thing? So he right away, he was a fan. I didn't know about like fighting or jiu-jitsu. I just wanted to like, next time I got into a fight or a scrap, I just wanted to like know how to fight better. I was like, dude, I've like won and lost fights, not knowing how to fight. Imagine if I knew how to fight. He was a fan coming in. He liked Connor and all the other shit, you know what I'm saying? And right from the get-go, dude, he was like about it. Which in the beginning, everyone was mad annoyed with Zach Edwards. You're like, fuck, this fucking guy. He's like, hey guys, what do you think about Kyle Terra's like grip? Only because he was like so into it.
Yeah.
He was passionate. So we were like, fuck. And then like after like a year went by, we're like, dude, we fucking love this kid. And then he got good too. And then it just breaks my heart because, well, A, I love the kid and I don't want to see anybody go, but especially people I love. And then B, dude, I feel like finally like everything was like going his way. Like he moved down to Texas. He had that job. Like he was like learning how to weld for the whole time we were training together. And they finally like landed this cool job. He was crushing at jiu-jitsu. He finally got a hot girlfriend. He was like competing and crushing it there too. And it's like, dude, life's short is all it boils down to. Out of nowhere, boom. You wake up one day.
I talked to Zach. I texted him just to make sure he was all right. And then I knew he was a big part of the school. And then, I texted in that group. Like I sit on the sidelines a lot and I interact with all you guys. But to see how many people that dude affected in such a positive fashion with and I read 90% of what everybody posted about him, and I never knew him, and I would have loved to have interviewed him because he was a standout, unique person. And then Zach kind of told me like how he got his name and like where like
I gave him the backyard
like the back country or whatever it was.
I told him to get a mullet.
Like when I heard about all that stuff and whatnot, and it was and like the whole thing, and then like Zach said the word for word what you just said, like his life was coming together, and I lost some pretty massive people in my life, and you really don't know when your time is up. You really don't know when things are just going to be over. And I mean, for him to have had the seizures and then to watch where that was like a month went by and then it was over, it's like, to be in his shoes would have been terrible. And,
to be in anyone's shoes, man. You don't know what anyone's going on. I think the thing so I told you before, I was like, if you start training and you're there all the time, that's literally your family. It becomes family. But I guess with anybody, not even with Zach, but I mean, Zach hurts too. It's like the permanence of it all. There's a permanence that comes with death that you just don't deal with in any other aspect of life.
Yeah.
Right? So I could be like, fuck you, Mike. we're done. Not only am I never doing a podcast, but you'll never see me
Oh
again.
my God.
And then we might like run into each other at like, I don't know, like Denny's, right? And be like, hey, let me buy you a beer.
Yeah,
at
I've had that
Denny's,
happen many
right?
times in
it's
my
like,
life.
I didn't mean that. I was just being a, but like, it's like the permanence. Like that's like the last time, like the last roll, the last like high five, the last hand raise if he's competing. And that's what sucks, dude. And it's scary. It's weird. And it hurts. I didn't like it,
No. Like I said to Zach, I go, man, he impacted so many people just to see how many people were sharing stuff and then coming together. And I feel bad for his mom, and I feel bad for the school and everybody who's got to go through it. And it's never an easy thing, a part of life. And it's not something that anyone should ever have to go through, but unfortunately we do.
Yeah.
That was terrible. Mm-hmm. When do you want to do this again?
Dude, whenever. Next time I have a day off, then we'll talk about some real shit that has nothing to do with finishers.
Hey, dude, you went off on a tangent. I just let you go.
You asked me. We started talking
I
about
just said,
Greek
hey, how'd you
Orthodox
get
religion.
into jiu-jitsu?
We started talking about Greek Orthodox religion. You know what I'm saying? And then now we're talking about finishers for an hour.
No, when I get back from vacation, I'm going to go get a beer with JM. And because even if it's just me, you, and JM.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, because when Zach's baby's a little bit older, we could probably pull him in here, or we could bring in a fourth. But
my baby's coming this month too.
That's right. You're gonna be a dad as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I want to. There's a special place for that Train or Don't podcast, and I think you can get some cool stories, even if it's a once a month thing, or even if we just do this and it's not Train or Don't, and we just put it underneath Never Again. But I love, because they'd always apologize when they would go off on their tangents about the war stories, and I would just be like, dude, this is awesome. Like, you guys, that's just fucking crazy, dude.
So even the karate gyms, back then they do stuff, it's like katas, which is basically like, it's kind of like shadow boxing, but it's not at all. It's like forms in karate, and you just like hold it, and like they told me that it was like mad strict. It was like, someone would come and be like, it's got to be a fist from your whatever, and like lift your arm like an inch up, and then you got a star, and if you got a star, you were a badass. Anyway, there were these other schools, karate schools. Mind you, this is all karates. It was like Master Glaziers that turned into Tiger Schulmans, and then the Tiger Schulmans guys, right? They had their own katas, and then fucking like Mike's Never Again katas, right? So, and then there was forms competitions. There was this one sensei. His name was fucking the Allentown guy. I forget what his name was. Sensei something. Or Shihan Wilson or something like that. It's either Shihan Wilson or but he was a Shihan, right? But he wasn't always. And at some point he was a sensei, then now he's a Shihan. Anyway, none of this matters. I'm just trying to think out loud. They did a dojo storm because they found out, they caught wind that someone was using some of their katas. Just forms, mind you, right? Now you can like talk about like fucking your mother on the internet, and like so everyone can see. Back then, dude, if you did like a kick in the air the way they did a kick in the air, he literally got the whole fight team, right? And he's like, yo, we're gonna walk in there, and I want you guys to just start putting on all your shit, all your sparring shit. So they just walked in this karate gym, mind you, like the most savage of the fighters of back then. Like, and Zach was part of this too. So he's like, dude, he just told me to go in, and I just had to. I was like, fuck it, I guess we're gonna fight. He's like, he just started putting on his shin pads and things like that, and he was like, they were just gearing up to just beat the fuck out of everybody. I guess everybody, because who's your best? What if they don't train on Tuesdays and you went on a Wednesday?
Different time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then I guess the other guy came and like apologized and all this other shit. It was crazy. Yeah, that Shihan.
Yeah,
I don't know if
there's so many stories.
Dude, yo, that Shihan probably has 30 stories of his own Zach can tell you about. There's like folklore around him. Like he's got a glass eye, and he's fucking like
Big Trouble in Little China.
No, he's got a glass eye.
You ever see the movie Jim Kata?
Jim Kata? No, but I know Jim Kata with the drifting of the cars.
Nope, this is a movie probably early 80s. and it was a gymnast, and then there's a tournament over in like Bulgaria or Russia, and then it's like a tournament to the death, and this gymnast enters. I'll send you a link, but
Dude,
when you said kata,
I'd watch that. I'd be into that.
it's really it's like him doing karate, but then he throws gymnastics in with it, so like
That's probably better.
but like there's like it'd be a tree, but then like when he swings on it, you could tell it's obviously like the pole that he would use, and there's a lot of like like just if you're into like old shitty, like we used to just watch it as kids because it was just such a terrible karate movie.
Yo, what was the one that was on purpose a terrible karate movie where they're like, yes, my name is Betty. He's like, and he played Sir Mix-a-Lot's I Like Big Butts and I Cannot Lie when he beats people up. You know what I'm talking about? Not Kung Fu Hustle.
Kung Pao?
Kung Pao.
Kung Pao or something? Yeah.
I've been waiting for the sequel to that movie.
They're never going to put that out. I think
would
that
be
movie
fantastic.
did terrible. That was the one where they like punched a chicken or something. What about the other one? What's the Bruce Leroy, The Last Dragon? Did you ever watch that one?
No.
See, the other thing too is this is what I can't wait for. In the new studio, like we can like watch. Like, I want to set it up so that, like, if we just set up 3 chairs, we would run these mics and they'd see the back of our heads, like, Mystery Science 3000, and then we could watch, like, a shitty Kung Fu movie
I'm down with
and just
that.
talk. Like,
Bro,
I can't wait till it's, like, set up to where, like, because if we would do this again, we would be doing this at the same time. But if I was like, yo, dude, do you want to, like, make Greek food and then, like, we can, like, do a cooking show? And
I'm
then,
down, dude,
yeah.
to do a cooking show.
That's why I
Americans
can't
cook
wait.
for shit. I saw everybody. I'm like, hey, like, who do you like? Who's a good cook? And he's not even American. He's fucking. What the fuck is the guy's name? He's always yelling at everybody.
Oh,
And he's British.
shit.
The fucking British guy, dude. What a piece of shit that guy is. I saw him make an omelet or scrambled eggs.
Oh,
and
the
he
soft
made them,
scramble.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck is this mush? If someone served that to me, I'd be like, get this dribbling shit out of here. I was like, you can't even cook eggs. You're going to be a professional fucking chef. And he's like the best one. And that's
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. Fuck
Gordon
Gordon
Ramsay.
Ramsay. If you're listening to this,
Gordon
Gordon
Ramsay.
Ramsay, suck my dick. Yo, I could talk shit to any British person because I just have no respect for any British people. I just don't think they're that athletic either.
Is he British?
Yeah.
What about Michael Bisping? Were you a fan of Michael Bisping?
I actually liked Michael Bisping, but
Yeah.
since we're on the topic, fuck Michael Bisping. You know what I'm saying? I gotta stay true to. I don't want to.
He's getting better at announcing.
Yeah.
I hated him in the beginning. I
Really?
hated him. Yeah, but now
I
like
always kind of liked the heel, like the bad guy character. I always like that.
And he would, dude. Do you remember when he spit on who was the dude? He's now in bare knuckle boxing. I forget the dude. He used to have like the catfish fucking mustache. What the fuck was his name? Him and Bisping were going at it, and Bisping punched him in Joey Beltran, and he punched.
Oh shit, I remember that.
He kicked fucking Beltran in the nuts on purpose, and then when Beltran was over in his corner, he did a circle lap, and he came over and he fucking spit on him after the fight.
Damn.
That like they don't let you do that shit anymore in UFC.
No.
Like
if you spit on anybody, like you gotta get ready to fight. Like at
Yeah,
that point,
but that's
if
why I like
anybody
Bisping, though.
Spit
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like if unless you like have like big lips or like if you just talk normally
Yeah.
and you spit, but. Dude, if you
that's-
spit on anybody, you gotta be ready.
the
to fight
UFC's
that
so different
instant.
now, so different now, and like because back then it was like he was coming out of the Ultimate Fighter, and like he was like fucking dudes up early on, like dudes who like wouldn't even be in the fucking televised UFC shit now,
Right.
like when because it's just. I watched it for so long, and like it's so different the way it is now. But
He
like he
did
dude,
the
he-
Ultimate Fighter like 30 times. He was a
yeah,
coach like 20
yeah,
times.
and I think it was only because of his accent. Like if that
That's
dude didn't
it.
have an accent, they wouldn't be putting him on.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was awesome when he finally won because when you watch someone's career like that the whole fucking time, and then he just keeps trying to get the belt, never fucking does, and then fucking smokes Rockhold like that. Rockhold's fighting again.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. And he's
coming up too. It's there's a big card coming
there
up.
was a time, man, where Rockhold was like the most like I was like, damn, it was like Rockhold and Weidman. And
Yes.
I was like, yo, if Rockhold and Weidman fought once a week, this would be the greatest organization.
And how
ever.
crazy is it now that they're both coming off the down now?
Well, yeah, that's what happens. It's
Yeah.
a young man's sport. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not that he's not. I mean, don't get me wrong. That guy can still fuck up a lot of
Yeah, he
dudes.
still looks good too.
The thing
I saw
is,
him at a
yo,
fucking
MMA is very, very young. It's in
Yeah.
its infancy. Like
Yeah.
you're still looking at like, oh, he's like really good at striking and like the wrestler.
Well, even
It's
the
like,
dudes coming off the Contender Series now, because like the Ultimate Fighter, I can't even watch that show anymore. The Contender Series, I'll pay attention when those guys come out of Contender Series because it's usually someone decent.
Yeah.
But they have people that come out of there.
But now the next wave, you're gonna see people that are like perfect martial art, like from 5 years old, because no one starts playing basketball at like 20 years old, and then you go to the NBA at 25. But you see that in MMA.
Yeah, look at Bam Bam.
Yeah.
Like everything he's doing.
Bam Bam is a savage.
Yeah, like he was in. I was just getting done recording Zach's Corner, and he was there. And I follow him on social media, and then you see everything he's doing, and then you still realize, like, I was like, oh, this is like a fucking kid.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like when the light isn't on yet. Like when that light's on, and then he just has the fucking.
Oh no, he knows. He's
no. I mean like when you turn 20.
Oh,
like you know what I mean? Like when he's like turning into a man,
right?
Like that, the skill set he's gonna have, that's just gonna be second nature.
His father's also really good, Chino.
Yeah,
Chino's got this.
I met him a couple times.
Yeah, he's the man. He's a good guy. That's why, if you're a good guy, you have good kids, right? But dude, Chino has like this knee bar lockdown thing. So from half guard, he'll just let you pass into half guard from full, or he'll, like, if he pulls half guard or whatever it is, and he like knee bars you from the lockdown. It's I don't know how it works or whatever, but he gets me all the time. So I'm like, fuck, stay away from that motherfucker's half guard. It's just like a knee bar in there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it works.
I don't know. I love plucking people from the school. It's so much fun. You just meet so many cool people.
There's a lot, man. There's a lot of characters, and only more, because now it's just expanding, and you know.
Well, I'm gonna wrap it up because it's 5. I got 5:30. I got vacation Saturday.
Where are you going
I'm super
on vacation?
pumped. Outer Banks.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Edibles. Take an edible before we go down to the beach, and then it hits by the time we get to the beach.
Go on the grass on the sand with the horses.
No, that's, I think, when you go to. I would do that. That's
Kill Devil, whatever.
The Ocracoke Island.
Yeah.
Which I'm not opposed to going, but I go down with a family, and then there's
Duck
2 kids.
Donuts, right?
I don't know. I know that shtick now, dude. I can make that donut and fucking dip it in cereal.
That's
fucking,
true.
You want $27 for one. No, I mean, we go out probably once or twice, but like they're beach people, and I never was a beach person till I went with them, and then like we just sit on the beach the entire day, and like so I'll just bring like 15 beers down. We'll bring a cooler of beers down, usually pop an edible, and then I'll go out in the ocean with Tucker on the boards and just relax. And then I didn't realize, like, when you sit there at the ocean, like the decompressing, and I could literally watch my brain slow down. And then I'm like, dude,
it's nice to not do a goddamn thing. And
which I'm not used to, because my parents, when we go on vacation, we'd go to Disney, and we'd go to even Ocean City, Maryland. There was always a fucking schedule. And I remember my dad bitching about it and not realizing until now what he was bitching about. I was like, we're on fucking vacation, and you're making this more stressful than.
We'll go to Greece, just sit on the beach, and I don't like it. Like some of my cousins, like the younger kids, they always like bring like their little portable music thing. I'm like, dude, turn that shit off. You don't like just once, not have anything around
it's
you.
not. I won't bring my phone. Like I'll bring
my phone because shit, like important shit can go on, right?
No, but I don't want anything. I don't want any
music or anything like that. I just want to listen and watch the nothing.
Yeah.
Or like go out and go swimming. Because I usually, once I get into the water, depending on how cold it is, I don't leave. I'll just like swim around.
Because I got a boogie board last year. Tucker goes out on the boogie board, and then we just relax. And then it's like we don't go back to the house till dinner time. Then we'll go back to the house tonight and tomorrow. What is it? Thursday? Today's Thursday. We'll start making food and then we'll just bring food down with us. And like, you know, it's cool because now it's like I'm back into food. So I was talking to Tucker. I'm like, yo, you want to do smash burgers down there? He's like, hell yeah. So we're going to make cheeseburgers, take them to the beach. I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. It was a blast closing out the week. We don't ever get to talk as much as I'd like to. We bullshit and Instagram, but I've always considered you a friend just from the first time we got fucked up down here. It was so much fun. You're always welcome to come back on. Anytime you're bored, you want to get out of the house, we got to drag Holland next time. And I also want to go out with you guys. Like, fuck all this shit. Dude, like, let's go out and get dinner before you have when's your baby coming?
This month, right at the end of the month. On the 30th. I don't care, dude. Everyone's I don't think that's gonna change anything. No. I know everyone's like, oh man, just wait. I'm like, dude, you could barely handle. Like, you have to pay a guy every time anything happens with your shit. I'm like, I can handle a kid. It's not that bad. Yeah. People have like 4 or 5 kids. You know what I'm saying? In a one bedroom apartment.
I just meant like the first month or so. Whatever. We'll go in October.
I'll probably
we'll do
be the
something.
most drunk that first month.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No.
Do you want to plug your social media or anything? You have anything to plug?
Don't reach out to me. I have enough friends. Please don't.
If you're offended by anything that I said today,
I don't care either way.
This is my interpretation of the story. Fuck everyone.
Be famous. I don't
Captain
want
Planet
to
rules.
Don't hit me up and act like you know me unless you know me.
If you're a first-time listener, first-time watcher, anything like that, go to neveragainstudio.com. Everything's on there. If you need apparel made, you need anything, help out with sponsoring the show, anything you need is on neveragainstudio.com. If you want to get ammunition, nazoammo.com. If you're from Finishers, go through Zach. If not, hit me up. nazoammo.com. Keystone Munitions will be coming on. Thank you so much. I have to piss.
Never Again Radio. Get into it, brother.